Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be planting our fall beets and beans, and we've got an awful lot of footage, so we'll be right back to tell you all about it. Okay guys, like I said, we've got a whole bunch of footage on how we plant our fall beets and our fall beans. We plant a different kind of beet for fall, and we kind of mixed up the beans, and we've played a little joke on Tina that she doesn't know about and she won't know about until she figures it out herself. So she probably won't see the video, but she will see the results. So let's get into that footage and let's see what we've done. Okay guys, we've got a couple of objectives for today. The first is going to be to prep this bed here. This is the bed you saw us harvest beets out of. In fact, there's the other beets that we still need to harvest. But we're going to prep this bed again and put in just a single bed crop of beets. We won't be doing a double bed again. But one more bed of beets ought to hold us for the year. So we'll go ahead and get this bed prepped and we'll get it planted. And I'll bring you back for some more of that. Okay, the other project we're going to have to work on today is prepping these two long beds. These are the beds that you saw us grow green and wax beans in. Those beans are spent and they're out of here. So, but this one's going to take a little more work. I see a skunk or somebody's come in here and dug up in the bed. So I'm going to have to get these straightened out first, and then we'll get them amended up for beans. And I'll show you that planting when we get to that. Okay guys, hopefully the camera picks this up all right, but what I've done is I've gone ahead and amended this bed. And I used the organic garden fertilizer that we showed you in our planting broccoli video, but it is a 2-7-4, which means it's really high in phosphorus compared to nitrogen. It's 3 times the phosphorus that it does nitrogen. But that's what the root crops need. So we're going to go ahead and amend it with that. And then the light color frosted look you see is Epsom salt. So we're going to go ahead and work those into the soil, and then we'll get to planting. All right guys, this Tina is once again on the hunt. And right now she's hunting down her acorn squash. There they are. But let's see what she's found so far over here in her bucket. That's gonna be a nice haul. We'll have more than we can eat before they go bad. So what we'll do is we'll cut them in half, put them in the oven, bake them down, and then we'll scoop the guts out of them and put them in the vacuum bags and freeze them up as squash mush. But it's really good if you crumble some nice seasoned sausage in it when you heat it up back up later. But you can make it all kinds of ways into squash soup from where it's at. But she's getting down towards the end of getting these out of here, and then I can get the tractor in here and we'll make some sense out of this garden. But right now, when the things get to vining, you can't go tromping around in there pulling weeds. So we let them vine and run once they get going. And then we go on the great pumpkin search in the pumpkin patch and look for all kinds of goodies. But we'll get back in here. I might even get it in on this video, but we'll get back in there and we'll get these things out of here, and then we'll run over it with the tractor and call this part of the garden done. All right, real quick before we head back over to planting beets, I need to give you a look at this broccoli box. This is the one we put the transplants in. We watered them after we put them in, and they were watered again this morning, but they are standing up and looking good. So shouldn't be any troubles there, and the other plants they're still doing good, but they were up and going pretty good already. But we had let me pull down here. We had a few people ask about these black peppers and what they taste like. They taste exactly like a bell pepper, just maybe a hair bit sweeter and just a little bit earthier. But we really enjoy the black peppers. They give some color to some of the things we cook. So but we did have some questions on those, so I thought I'd answer it while I was standing here. Alright guys, we're back over here at the beet bed, and I've got the amendments mixed into the top of the soil. We don't mix them too deep, but I'll pull you over here for just a second. Once again, we're going to be, like our carrots, we're going to be using pelleted seed, and it's a monogerm seed. Most beet seeds can put up 4 or 5 plants. You have to look specifically for a monogerm that'll only put up a single plant. But the variety we're going to be planting now is Merlin's. Everybody always asks the variety, but you should check with your seed supplier and get you a seed that works well in your area. So, but we're going to be planting Merlins. They're different than what we planted earlier in the year. But these grow better in the fall. They're a little bit faster, so we know we're sure to get them out before the frost. But they're a nice, big, round, even colored beet. But we'll get to planting these. That makes them really easy to put in, so we don't have to fumble around with little tiny seeds. I have fat fingers, so I don't like dealing with little seeds. So we'll go ahead and get those put in, and we'll show you what we're up to next. All right, guys, we pulled Tina over. She was on her way to the porch, but now I think she's over there taking a break in the shade. But looks like she found some, rescued some of the onions. Those are real small. Those are planted from seed, and we had planned to dry those out and possibly make onion sets out of them. We've never done that before, so we thought we might give that a try. But those may be our onion sets for next year. I hate planting from sets, and you won't see us plant. We'll plant those for fun, but when we plant ours, we'll plant first year onions. But looks like we found some butternut squash. Look like some nice ones in there. And there's the acorn squash you guys saw before, but she was headed to the porch, so thought I'd give you a look at what she'd gathered up out of the garden. Alright guys, we got these beets planted, and we'll see if one of you viewers can see how many beets actually fit in that bed. But in a plant where spacing is important, it's also important to hand plant. So where our rows aren't perfect and not straight by any means, but the plants are all the right space apart, we won't have to go back through and do any weed or thinning, since we use a monogerm seed. And I want to caution you against planting seeds too closely together. When you plant one seed too close to another, you ruin 2 plants. So take your time when you're planting. It's worth every bit, the little bit of extra effort. Get them spaced out the way you want them, and don't get them too close together. Like I said, you put two seeds too close together, you ruin 2 plants. So these will come up, they'll be ready to go. I need to get a light cover on them, and then we'll get them watered in, and they should be good to go. And we'll see them again in about a month and a half, 2 months. All right guys, well, Tina and I take a little break here in the shade. I'll just kind of give you an overview of what we're working with, and you have an idea, just some perspective. I always end up taking close-up shots and it's hard to tell. But there's the beets we just planted. And I wanted to take a second to tell you about the pelleted seeds. One thing I forgot to mention is that in germination, one of the most important things is soil contact. And that clay coating that they put on the seeds, once that gets wet and you water it in, you have 100% seed contact with the soil. And well, you can't hardly beat that for the germination rate. But I know some of you have asked where we get our seeds. I'll gladly answer that down in the comments. But you can get your pelleted seeds there, and especially carrots and beets. Those things really depend on soil contact. So anyway, I thought I'd just give you a look around and a little bit of perspective, and show you what we're doing. But we'll be back in a minute. We'll start working on them beans. I just wanted you guys to see how she is. She's leaving me here to garden by myself so she can run to town and have fun. No, she's going to pick up garden supplies for tomorrow's video. So, hey. All right, guys. I got these bean beds leveled out, and we put some of the fertilizer and the Epsom salt on there. Like I said, that fertilizer is about 3-to-1 phosphorus to nitrogen, which is another thing that you need for beans or anything that sets a fruit, like a tomato or anything else. If you have too much nitrogen and not enough phosphorus, then you just end up growing a pretty plant and having no fruit on it. So You can up your bean production and your tomatoes, and there's several other things. I'll probably get to those in other videos, but by giving your phosphorus 2 to 1 to your nitrogen, you'll increase your yields. Now, this dirt in here might look a little rougher than over there by the beets. The beets are in a soil that we keep really fluffy, but this soil here, you saw us grow beans in these beds before, and we pulled those beans out. In fact, they're laying right over there. But we leave the root systems in the soil, and that leaves both organic material and their stored nitrogen. So we're going to leave the root systems in there, which will make the ground a little rough, but it'll settle down as they decompose, and we're just going to go ahead and plant right through it. It doesn't hurt a thing. So we're going to go ahead and get this mixed in real light, and then we'll get to planting and we'll bring you back. Okay guys, we'll take a walk down through these bean beds. I got them all planted up now. That took a little while, but sun is headed down to the horizon. But we got both long beds planted. I'll try to get down here and give you guys a little perspective. But that is all, those are all beans. Those are the 2 beds you saw planted before. Now since Tina has been funny and run off to town, I pulled one on her. I mixed the wax beans and the green bean seeds together before I planted, and I have no idea which holes are which. So that ought to be really funny. About the time they start to mature, she'll come out here and notice it. I'll let you guys know about the time she notices it. But they'll mature at the same time. They come off at the same time, so it's not a big deal. But I thought we'd pull a fast one on her, and she'll probably get a kick out of it. But all right, we're gonna get these covered up, and we're gonna get on the tractor, and we're gonna see if we can do a little tractor magic over there in the main garden. All right guys, I'll give you a look at the garden before I get started here. And you'll see that the open spot that we had before, we let the weeds come up in there. There really wasn't much sense in tending that, and we didn't tend the areas where the vines were running because we couldn't walk through them while the vines were there. But we got some other stuff going over on the other side. But this is what it looks like. Take a good long look, because this is what it looks like before I get started. All right guys, I'll give you one last look at this beet bed before we get ready to water it in. But they're in and ready to go. We'll take you over here and show you the beans. All right, we got the bean beds covered down, and they're all done. We'll walk up through and look at them real quick. All we got left to do is water these in, and they'll be done. I'll take you over here and show you the garden magic. All right guys, we're over here at the garden, and I will show you the only thing weeds are good for, which is being chopped up and turned into green mulch. I know the lighting is terrible and the sun's going down and I'm about looking right at it, but we left the okra, we left the tomatoes, and on the other side of the tomatoes we left the peppers. But see if we can ease around here while we're talking. But we got them all ground in. I'm sorry, that light's probably terrible. We got them all ground in, and left the peppers and the tomatoes down through here, and ground this side down too. So that garden will be ready to sit for a week or so. We'll let that stuff break down. We'll give it a good turn, and then we'll decide what kind of cover crop we're going to put on it. That's going to about wrap it up for the video today. I'll be back in a minute to talk to you. All right guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. We enjoyed having you guys here at the homestead. That's how we plant our beets and how we plant our beans. We get an awful lot into a small amount of space, so we have to have pretty rich soil, and that's, you know, you've seen us do our soil mix videos. Those amount of plants in that small of a space can really tear up your soil. So it's something you need to take care of. But we're glad you guys came to visit. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that thumbs up button. And if you have any questions or comments, we'd appreciate you leaving those down below. Your comments and questions and thumbs up tell YouTube to show our video to more people, which really helps the channel. So that's one way you can help us out. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a real quick click on the thumbs up and a real quick hello down below, and you'll have done us a good favor. So if you like the content here on the channel, we hope that you'll subscribe. There's a subscribe button down below, and next to it is a bell. If you'll click on that bell, that'll send you notifications whenever we release new videos, and that's a great way to keep up with the channel. But please do take the time to hit the thumbs up and comment below, and read through the other comments. We have a great group goes on down there, some conversations and back and forthing, but they have a good time, so join in, and the more you comment, the more you'll probably enjoy the channel, because we take our cues from you. So until we see you guys again, we hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the next one.